Have you ever cried after a Reiki session and wondered, why do I cry after Reiki? Well, you're not alone, and I'm here to explain to you exactly why that happens and how to best deal with it or navigate through it for your highest good and highest good of all. So why do you cry after Reiki? Well, Reiki works at all levels, from the physical, emotional, energetic, mental, and spiritual. So when you allow yourself this time to heal, all the suppressed emotions could arise, especially during relaxation and being still, which is why most people get uncomfortable relaxing, because that's when all the stuff you've been suppressing comes up. So after your Reiki session, the effects of the healing process could take anywhere from days to weeks, sometimes months. And that depends with each session, each person, and every time you do it, it's gonna be different. And sometimes you're going to feel really joyful and high after Reiki. Other times you're not gonna feel anything. And especially if you have been suppressing a lot of emotions and don't allow yourself to feel during your day-to-day life, you're most likely going to be crying. So it's allowing and giving yourself the permission for all that's been suppressed to come up to the surface, to be healed. That's why it happens like a few days after, or especially during the session, if you weren't as comfortable, maybe you felt embarrassed to release whatever comes up, then afterwards, when you're alone, days and weeks after, you might start crying out of nowhere, but it's healing any emotions you haven't dealt with from years ago or recent, especially if you've been going through a lot of grief that you've been suppressing. And it could also heal traumas from the past. So things that you've forgotten, you might remember, but it's all coming up to the surface to be observed, honored, looked at, learn the lessons that it came with, and for you to just release. So you're just allowing it to flow through so that it doesn't get trapped in your body as tension. So when we don't allow ourselves to process our emotion, oftentimes what happens is it gets trapped in our body as tension. It could also turn into a physical pain, chronic pain, or worst cases, if you do that over a long period, it could turn into a disease. This is. So emotion is often referred to as energy in motion. So you have to let it flow through. So when we release tears and allow ourselves to cry, your body releases chemicals in forms of hormones. Oxytocin, which is called the love hormone, helping you to feel bonded, loved, cared for, and giving that feelings of well-being in general, as well as compassion, empathy. It also releases endorphins, which is the body's natural painkiller that helps to reduce pain, physical pain, and improves mood. It also helps to reduce cortisol, which is a stress hormone. And it also releases enzymes that helps to prevent infections in the eyes. It also releases prolactin, which is the hormone that helps to regulate your emotions. So there are so many benefits to allow yourself to cry, but You don't want to just go everywhere spewing, even though it's important to release and process your emotions. You want to do it in a container that's safe and supported. So when you do it at home by yourself, Reiki session is a perfect for doing that. Just any form of relaxation, allowing yourself the space and permission to feel is always helpful. And sometimes certain music or movies can help you release crying, but that only takes you to a certain level, but it still is good. It releases all those chemicals and hormones to help you process emotions and allow yourself to feel better, to reduce some physical pains. Certain hip opening poses in yoga is really amazing to allow yourself to release. And then even during Reiki session, if you feel safe and supportive with the practitioner that you're receiving the Reiki session from, it could really help you to release during the session. And it also works really well virtually as well as in person through the distant Reiki. One example is during one of the sessions that I've offered, I will keep it very anonymous to honor the privacy of my client. But this lady came to my virtual session for a 30-minute virtual Reiki session. And literally from the moment she lay down and relaxed to receive the virtual Reiki, she cried the whole time. And I ended up staying a little bit longer to make sure that she was okay, and then follow it up with an email the next day. And because she did such a deep release during the whole session, for her, the after effect of the Reiki was she felt a lot of relief, felt light, reestablished a positive relationship with the issue she was dealing with, and felt so much lighter and joyful. Again, it's very different each time, and each person is very different. And Reiki only works to what you're open to receive, because a Reiki practitioner of integrity should never force and go against your free will. So we're always setting an intention to honor your free will. So the Reiki will only work to what you're open to receive for your highest good. That does not hinge upon your free will. So that is the most important part of the Reiki session. So it's whatever you're open to receive, willing to receive, at your highest good for you and for the highest good of all. And when you're releasing on an emotional level, it could also help with physical pain and mental. You could receive a mental clarity. You can release trauma. But again, this is not a magical healing that you always want to consult your physician or therapist if you're getting mental therapy, because the healing is not linear, and each healing session peels like a layer. It's like an onion that keeps peeling and peeling, and sometimes once you start, you go deeper and deeper, and depending on you, the effect of it can last a day, few days, weeks, or months. Or it could completely heal for a lifetime. And it also could heal traumas from the past, so certain memories could trigger, or you could remember, but the most important thing is that you want to be kind to yourself and know that the feelings can come and go, and you always want to honor whatever's rising and allow yourself to feel at that moment. Let it flow through. And the best way is to be an observer and know that it's coming up to be released, and with gratitude. And if there's any lessons you feel that experience taught you, you learn from it, you can integrate and apply it so that you don't repeat that cycle. And it can also clear any ancestral traumas. So you could work through your generationally, clearing any ancestral trauma so that you don't repeat the pattern from you and going forward. So, if you watch like Joy Luck Club, even though you don't know what your mom went through, subconsciously you inherit that and you end up repeating the same cycle, or from your grandma. So that's the ancestral trauma or patterns that could, when you heal it, you could end it with you so you don't pass out onto your next generation. So another great way is to just kind of practice self-care, really reinforce to love yourself, do a lot of self-love affirmations. You can also journal. Sometimes it helps to just write out your thoughts and then burn them in a safe container. So those are a few ways that you can deal with it. After crying, if you want to kind of raise your vibration, support your grief process, citrus essential oils are really amazing, such as lemon or orange. And when you're working with essential oils, you want to always use the pure, highest grade without any synthetic or pesticides added. So you really want to get it from a good source of reputable brands that are using the highest process so that you get the healing benefit. But the citrus oils, the orange and the lemon can be quite inexpensive even from the highest grade. And one little drop can do wonders. And if you don't have essential oils, you could just squeeze some lemon, the little from the skin, just smell it in the air. You can even visualize, if you remember the scent of lemon, you can even visualize in a meditation. It's always good to be near the water, watch ocean videos or listen to the waves, sound of waves. And because the emotions are directly related to water elements. But if you're in need of more grounding, go out and walk on grass, receive some sunlight to get your vitamin D. So those are also good ways. And then just surround yourself with some loving people, friends, family that can be supportive for you. And then dogs, pets are always our best emotional support. So you can always hug your dog or pet your dog. Those are a few ways you could help yourself to navigate, to feel better after a crying session, or to allow yourself to process the post-Reiki session detoxification. And there could be also many other detox symptoms that could arise after a Reiki session, but crying is definitely one of them we're focusing on this video. If you have any other questions, or if you want to share your experience, and if there's any other topics you would like me to cover, please let me know in the comments. And if you found this video to be helpful, feel free to subscribe and share it with anyone you might think would help. And if you would like to go deeper with me and book a Reiki session, a virtual Reiki session via Zoom, the links are in the description, and there's a Reiki playlist, so you can also check out the Reiki playlist. So wishing you happy healing, and see you on the next video.